Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Aisha Fayaz. I'm an equity research analyst at KTrade Securities. I welcome you all to the corporate briefing session for Fauji Cement Company. We're delighted to have the CFO of the company, Mr. Umar Saab. Firstly, I would like to thank the management of the company for taking out time for us in conducting this corporate briefing session. So right now we have more than 50 participants who have joined us virtually. And the session will begin with a short presentation by Mr. Umar Saab, and that will be followed by the Q&A session. I would request all the virtual participants to please write their questions in the chat box, and I will read out those questions to the management. We will first take the questions from the virtual participants and then move on to the physical participants. With this, I would request the CFO Saab to please begin the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'd just like to welcome all our participants to our half-yearly corporate briefing, those that are with us on Zoom and those who are physically present. So we'll start off with a brief presentation, and then we'll be, inshallah, taking questions. So Fauji Cement Company, you know about it, those who have been following it. We endeavor to be on a mission to be a role model cement manufacturing company, to be an environment abiding company, to be a quality producing company. That is our main theme and mission on which we work. This year's annual report showed our main theme for this year and the next one. It's a transformation that's been taking place in Fauji Cement with the merger happening last year and with the expansions that we've already announced. So we aim to take our place in amongst the leader in the cement industry in Pakistan. This has been Fauji Cement's journey right from the start in 1997-98. A big milestone that was achieved this year has been the Nizampur expansion project that we completed. This takes our production capacity to 8.4 million tons per annum. And with one more DG Khan expansion in the pipeline, that will make us the third largest cement manufacturing company in Pakistan. So this was a main milestone. Alhamdulillah, I'd like to share that despite all the inflationary pressures and all that costs increasing, we were able to complete this project within our budgeted cost and within the financial basis that we had set for ourselves from the start of the project. Fauji Cement is a strong brand in the cement industry. It's spread well all over the country, mainly in the north primarily, but all over north. A big advantage that we will have, inshallah, when the DG Khan expansion comes online, it will give us a place in the southern Punjab market as well as outreach to Sindh and to Balochistan as well. So we hope that will be a good addition to the overall semantics of Fauji Cement Company. The sustainability initiatives, the aim to be less of carbon polluter in the country, to do our part as far as possible is our main theme that we've strived on, which included our solar captive power plants that we put up. So we are about at 29 megawatts as of now. And with the new 11 megawatts power plant coming up at our Nizampur site, that will take us to 40 megawatts. I'm happy to share Fauji Cement, has been a leader in setting up solar power in Pakistan, especially in the cement industry as well as the industrial setup as well. This was the largest captive solar power plant that we set up of 12.5 megawatt about 3-4 years ago. And now the cement industry is catching up, and all the other players are also, putting up solar plants, as well as the other industries are also diverting towards it in line with the aim and with the theme in the country to have more solar power. Similarly, we have waste heat recovery power plants. Those are also environment friendly. We produce green cement as well, which is 10% of our total sales. We aim to reduce the clinker factor and reduce carbon emissions with it. These are our main theme for the sustainability initiatives. The industry as a whole, the economic condition in the countries has caused the industry overall to take a dip as compared to the last year. The prices of almost all construction materials, including cement, is on a higher side. That is demand negative as far as that is concerned, although it is more of a cost push that has caused that increase to go. Compared to the industry in the north, the industry showed a decline of 17%, whereas Fauji Cement in the 6 months showed a decline of 14%. So it's slightly better than the industry. Our main strength comes from projects that we supply to because of the quality. Alhamdulillah, all the major hydropower projects are our customers. That gives us an edge in terms of the customer base and market. As far as the financial overview goes, this 6 months, we've earned a profit of 5 billion on a half-yearly basis. This is the highest ever that Fauji Cement has so far achieved. The GP ratio was 28%. There is increase in the sales revenue, and that travels right to a PAT figure as well as the EBITDA margins. Our debt equity ratio is also pretty comfortable, 32:68. And even after the DG Khan expansion comes online, we expect it to be not more than 42% of the overall equity portion. A main theme that we worked on over the past few years is to be a cost competitive company. This is a product, and we work on being a lowest cost producer. We aim to be that, and those are the lines that we are working. There was a tremendous increase in the international coal prices due to the geopolitical conflict abroad. That brought the coal prices to an all-time high, almost touched about $300 a ton. They've come down now considerably, almost half to that, but still with the devaluation, international coal prices are still pretty high. So we timely switched towards local coal and Afghan coal. That has been a big saver as firms as part of the cost is concerned. That has been the main focus. Along with the power, fuel and power almost constitute 60% of our total cost of production. So the second component of that is power. So we're trying to, increase the captive power as far as possible. For the 6 months, it's about 42% that we've produced from our own power generation systems, and we hope to, inshallah, increase that with the further solar coming online. Despite the inflationary impacts, we've tried to keep our fixed costs in check. And we've done a lot of rationalization on the HR side with the two expansions one that is still ongoing and the other just completed. We've used our existing manpower resources and used them on the new sites as just to keep our cost in check. So how do we see the outlook? The second quarter as compared to the first was a lot better as the impact of the flooding receded. We have a 30% increase in the overall dispatches. But as far as the overall year-on-year is concerned, we do see a double-digit, we could say between 12 to 15% decline in dispatches. The exports to Afghanistan, however, are better this year as compared to last year. We have at times the border closure issues, but apart from that, the overall dispatches to Afghanistan, because we mostly rely on the Afghanistan market being located in the north, so those are up 41% as compared to last year. As I shared, the journey to become amongst the lowest cost producers in the country continues and will continue. And our major challenge this year is to complete our DG Khan expansion. The devaluation has hit us, but alhamdulillah, we were able to secure 60% of the equipment in good time. It's only the remaining 40% that is yet to come. And we hope to, inshallah, complete this project by the end of 2023. That takes our overall capacity to 10.5 million tons, as I discussed. So this is how we see the market. There are things that we can control and work on, but there are some external factors that sort of dictate how the economy and how it all impacts down to the businesses in general and into the cement as well. So this was all from our side. We'll be happy to take questions now.
Thank you, sir, for the detailed presentation. I have received a lot of questions in the chat box, but I would like to remind all the participants who have joined in the middle of the session that please put the questions in the chat box so that I can ask those questions to the management directly. So the first question is from Mr. Ali Jumani from MCB Arif Habib, and he's asking, what is the revised cost for DG Khan expansion given recent devaluation? And what is the component for turf and LTFF? And will you be able to utilize it given government fiscal constraints?
So the revised cost is about 38 billion. We started from 32.5 billion, the budget, and the overall composition of, and it's mostly related to the FX and some to the interest components as a result of the increase of KIBOR. The overall composition of turf and LTFF was 9 billion in the overall debt of 20 billion. This was a 20 billion debt and 12 billion equity financing. So out of the 20 billion, we've managed to get 4 billion turf. As far as the 5 LTFF is concerned, as you know, the State Bank is not giving disbursements and even limits to the banks. So far we've utilized that as part of the KIBOR as well. So that increases the overall KIBOR component in the overall financing.
Okay, thank you. The next question is from Mr. Yasin from BMA Investment. He's asking, please disclose the cost of 11 megawatt solar and 7 megawatt waste heat recovery plant. And yeah, so
the cost of the plant that we put up in Vaya was 865 million, and the one that we're putting up in Nizampur Solar is about 1.6 billion.
okay, so he's asking another question, that the gross margins of Pioneer and Maple, they have increased on a quarter-on-quarter basis. What is it that Fauji Cement has missed in the gross margins? What is the reason behind the higher costs for the company?
I haven't actually seen the results, where I think of the companies just out yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to really analyze them. So once I'm able to do that, maybe it's because of some part of the retention. It's actually got to do, the flooding actually caused a lot of impact in our markets. So that took time to come back. And I think maybe that is the reason. Maybe the southern markets sort of were less affected, and the price there was maybe a little higher as compared to this side where we operate. So maybe that is the reason. As far as the cost is concerned, I think we're better than both the companies that you mentioned.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. The next question is from Mr. Ali from Zafar Securities. He's asking that, are the imports of cement not allowed in Pakistan, or the local companies are more efficient globally?
I think in cement, a lot has got to do with logistics cost. So you've got to see that if you've been able to sell your product, including the logistics cost, does that make sense or not? But so far, I think the local capacity has always been enough to meet the local demand, and it's being competitive as compared to the international imports as well. So I think this is a big plus, that I think cement, I could say, is among the maybe just a few products that isn't imported into Pakistan. So foreign exchange, as you know, is the major challenge for us today. So I think this is a big plus.
Okay, makes sense. The next question is from Mr. Mujtaba. He's asking, what is the current retention price, and can we expect some pressure on cement prices as new expansions has started production recently?
The current, I think, MRP is close to 1,050, 1,070 range. Yes, if there is a demand dip more than what we expect, 12 to 15%, there could be a chance. But as I said, the increase in prices is mostly driven by the cost. So if there is some respite in terms of cost, you might see some downward trend in the prices as well. But we don't see any major fluctuation if the cost remains as such.
Okay. So recently the government has, increased the sales tax and increased the FAD on cement. So has the company passed on this impact?
Yes, the impact will be passed on.
Okay. So there are a lot of questions with regards to the local and Afghan coal prices, that they have come down in line with the other coal indices. So has the local and Afghan prices come down as well, or are they on the similar level?
The local coal prices, I think, went up to about 42,000-45,000 or so. For just a short while, there wasn't much buying on that. But currently, I think they settled between a range of, you could say, 33 to 35,000.
Okay, and with the recent decline in global coal prices, will you be sticking with the local coal, or will you start importing coal?
I think the price of imported coal today converted at the exchange rate that we have is still about 56 or 60,000, close to 62,000. So based on that, reliance will still be on local coal, and hopefully with the imported prices coming down, we'll see some downward trend in the Afghan coal prices as well. But that remains to be seen. But still, there is a lot of gap between the international imported price and the local price.
Okay, so and where is the company, which region is the company getting the local coal from? Is it Dara or Duki or any other location?
Aisha, if you could just repeat that question, please.
So which region are you getting the local coal from?
It's mostly out of Dara. So if I could just take a question from our audience, please.
Yes, sure.
The basis of the international coal is something near about 60,000 per ton. So it is the price that whether these prices are more than the imported coal from Afghanistan, or the Afghan coal are also priced in the same price.
So Afghan coal prices today are trending between 52 and 54. So there is still a delta between that. And the other issue today that we have is that for imported coal prices, it's difficult to open LCs because of the constraint from China.
So you are making payment of that Afghan coal in the local currency or in the local?
It's paid in local currency.
It's a very good blessing for the company.
Yes, that's true. Ji Aisha.
Yeah, so the next question from the participants is from Mr. Hassan. He's asking when 11 megawatt solar power plant is expected to come online at Nizampur.
We expect it to be online, inshallah, in the last quarter of FY23.
And can you also share the demand outlook, cement demand outlook for this year, for calendar year 23, and when do you expect the domestic demand to pick up?
As I said, in our future outlook, we expect a decline overall. It could range between 12 to 15%. If we see some government projects going on, maybe it could even decline could be 10%. But hopefully we expect, a gradual recovery. I won't say that the next year, difficult to predict, but I won't say the next year would be another 15, 20% sudden increase, but maybe a steady increase of say 5 to 10% next year.
Okay. So the next question is from Mr. Raza Inam. He's asking how much of the cost has been incurred for DG Khan expansion and how much is left, and what is the target debt to equity ratio for the project?
So the debt equity was 60-40. It's almost 20 billion of it is spent out of the 32, but now it's 38. And we hope that by the end of 23, it will be completed.
Okay. So Mr. Mukeet is asking, after revised increased in cost by 6 billion rupees for the expansion, how are you going to finance this amount?
We have internal cash generation, alhamdulillah, available with us, the margins that we're earning. So that will be used for this financing, to funding this gap.
Okay. So have the exports become viable after the recent devaluation?
The exports are viable. They were viable earlier as well, but they've may become, you can say, more viable after the devaluation.
Okay. And what is your per ton transport cost for Afghan coal and for imported coal?
Afghan coal we generally buy at the factory gate, so it's part of the overall package. So if for example I say that the price is 52,000, it's delivered at the factory gate, and the price of imported coal, as I said, it's about 60, 65, 62,000 delivered at our plant site.
Okay, moving on to the next question. It's from Mr. Shamsuddin Shah from Al-Falah. He's asking what was the average coal cost in PKR per ton for second quarter fiscal year 23, and what is the current coal inventory cost and number of months?
So the coal cost was close to 38,000, and currently the inventory that we hold, it's about 43,000.
And can you also share the grid rate for second quarter?
It was 38,000.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. It's about the export outlook for fiscal year 23. The question is, why does it show a declining trend?
Why is it so increasing trend?
Declining trend.
The exports?
Yeah.
The exports I could divide into two parts. One is the Afghanistan exports that concerns us more because of the distance. The others are I think the sea exports. So you're aware the players located in the south generally import coal, and they didn't have that access to local and Afghan coal. So when the imported coal prices, I think, went up, their cost of production must have increased considerably. As a result, they had to, I think, stop or considerably reduce the sea exports. But the Afghan prices were reasonable, and we were able to, earn a contribution margin from that. So those continued. Those are showing an increasing percentage, as I also mentioned in the slide. Whereas the overall, yes, are decreasing because a major component of that is the sea exports.
Okay. The next question is that given the current economic conditions, would it be possible to complete DigiCon expansion by calendar year 23?
We are pretty much hopeful, inshallah, we will be able to complete it.
And can you kindly share Afghan coal prices, the current one, and can you also share the trend given the recent currency depreciation?
As I said, the current prices of Afghan coal range between 52 to 55,000.
Okay, so Mr. Mujtaba is asking that what was the closing inventory of clinker at quarter end? Can you please specify the quantity if possible?
I think I'll just give the period. We generally have a 30-day inventory stock available. So if you can see our production, you'll be able to calculate, but roughly between the 350,000.
Okay. The next question is, what is the proportion of local coal in your mix, not Afghan coal?
It's about 52, 53%.
Okay. So the next question is from Mr. Mehroz Khan. He's asking, what is the realized grid rate in the ongoing quarter?
It's about 28 rupees.
And you mentioned that Afghan exports are 41% year on year. Is it Fauji Cements exports or industry exports?
I think overall those are ours, but generally overall exports to Afghanistan are also in the same percent, close to that.
Okay, and he's also asking that, do you see any impact on cement demand in short term from the shortage of steel rebars?
I think steel, yes, is a big concern from what we've read and what we know, because they are mostly reliant on imported raw material. So maybe the impact of demand in cement comes with a lag. So if I start a construction today and I generally buy the steel and those stuff at the start. So those that have already started construction, they will complete. So which means I could say that the next 3 to 4 months, maybe you won't see that much drop. But if it persists, let's say they can't get raw material and imports and produce steel, then maybe after a lag of say 3-4 months, there could be an impact.
Okay, and he's also asking that if there are no supply issues, which coal would the company prefer? Will it be Afghan, Dara, Quetta, or Duki?
Will it
in
coal?
terms of quality? Which coal would you prefer if there are no supply issues? Is it going to be Afghan coal, Dara coal, Quetta coal, or Duki coal?
I think the most issue with the availability and supply relates to Afghanistan, and that only because of the border. If that is smooth and because recently Turkmen border was closed, and we are hoping that it will open up again. So as far as supply issues goes, I think it's just because of the border issue. Other than that, so far no major issue.
But in terms of quality, if we speak that,
Yeah,
then which coal would you prefer?
we prefer good Afghan coal because its quality is at par with almost imported coal. And then because of the prices differences, local coal today has become a big require.
Okay, so there are a lot of questions with regards to the upcoming expansion in DG Khan. And the questions are related to how the company is going to be able to achieve the target of calendar year 23, which the management has, I think, discussed a couple of times, that they are aiming to achieve the COD by the end of calendar year 23. So people are still asking that if you could share guidance on how would the company be able to do it given the import restrictions. So if you could comment on that.
Yeah, sure. So basically our LC was opened quite a while ago, and we opened the LC for the complete equipment. This is an EPC project for which our supplier is a Chinese supplier. And then we have our construction company, which is a company based in Pakistan, a Chinese company by the name of Sinoma Handen, based in Pakistan. So they have resources available here. They have local contractors that they can hire. As I said, 60% of the equipment is already at site. I think we'll share some photographs as well on the website just to update our shareholders and our investors as well. And the remaining major chunk of the imports, 15 to 20%, is expected by March, April. So as far as the equipment supply is concerned, we don't see an issue. As far as the LC payments are concerned, because the State Bank is honoring the LCs that were already opened, so we don't see them stopping them now for any reason. So we hope that if that doesn't happen, everything goes smooth, inshallah. So we will be able to complete work at site by end 23.
Okay, that's great. So the next question is with regards to the export potential for the company, and is the company exploring any other new markets?
Because of the logistics cost, our main emphasis has always been Afghanistan. The sea exports are not viable at present. But as I said, with the DG Khan expansion coming online, that will give us the opportunity to explore sea exports as well.
Okay, so the next question is from Mr. Ahmad Rauf from Sherman Securities. He's asking with regards to loan from parent company of 7.4 billion rupees. Will it be repaid or will it be converted to shares? What is the strategy?
So that is an option that the principal sponsor has. I think they see how the company is progressing. So probably at an appropriate time, they'll make a decision as to which option they would like to take, because it's a subordinate debt. So obviously, unless all the other debts are repaid, it can't be repaid. So it stands like that. And if they wish to convert, they have the option to do that as well.
Okay, so Mr. Hashim Yazdani from PACRA is asking that given the decline in industry demand and volumes, how is the company managing the plant utilization and what is the current utilization rate?
The current utilization, I think, is between 75%, 70 to 75%. And the strategy is to run the efficient line first and then follows the other one. So I think we're doing well on that.
Okay, great. And what is the landed cost of imported coal for certain players in PKR terms? What is the landed cost of imported coal for certain players in PKR per ton?
Certain players. I think if just as an example, if to us it's 65,000, so you could subtract, I think, about 5,000 to 6,000 freight cost from that, and that should be their cost.
So Mr. Hashim was asking another question, that will the company continue to sell cement under Askari Cement brand or merge it under one brand in the near future?
So we decided right at the outset when we set out on the merger that Askari is an established brand in a lot of the markets, and Fauji and Askari had separate markets. So that made sense for us to operate both the brands. Both have their own niche markets. So we expect to, pursue that and keep Askari as a brand.
Okay, so one participant is asking that why does not the company use Thar coal? Does the cement manufacturers fully consume coal fly ash in manufacturing cement? Is it possible to consume more coal fly ash from coal power plants?
So there is possibility of consuming fly ash. I think along with us, other manufacturers do also consume fly ash, but the percentage is very minimal. And secondly, the quality of fly ash also varies from plant to plant. As far as the Thar coal, I think you mentioned first, it's not really viable to use. It's actually lignite coal that has a lot of moisture in it. But maybe, when shove comes to push, tomorrow some breakthrough comes along and Pakistani cement companies are able to use Thar coal. I think that will be a big advantage, saving on the foreign currency as well as being indigenous in using in coal. But so far, I don't think anyone has in the cement industry has successfully done that. Although Power Cement, I read in the news, is a company in Karachi. They have sort of explored, and we are yet to see the results of how successful that was.
Okay, so can you also share the margin outlook for the company and the cement industry, given the expansion cycle which is going on in the near future, given low demand scenario?
I don't see a major dip in the current margins, maybe 2 to 3 basis points, but not much more than that.
And can you please confirm the target for DG Khan expansion? Is it fiscal year 23 end or calendar year 23 end?
Calendar year 23 end. You say between the quarter October to December.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. The next question is from Mr. Ahmed Rauf from Sherman. He's asking what is the coal inventory cost is around 42,000 rupees per ton. How many days is it going to last?
It's we generally keep between 60 to 90 days of inventory, a minimum max level, minimum 60, maximum 90.
Okay. So the next question is on the expansion in the South region. Does the company have any plans for that?
Not any as yet. We've undertaken 2 major expansions. So hopefully in the future, you can't rule that out, but not at the moment.
Okay. So yeah, I don't see any other questions in the chat box. So maybe we can take some questions from the participants who have joined us physically.
Sure, please.
I have a couple of questions. First is if the parent company decides to convert that loan into equity, what are the terms of conversion? How much we can expect in the next element post that conversion?
So they have the option to convert at par value. Par value is ₹10. So based on that, there will be an impact on the earnings. So it's about 7.2 billion. So you could say 700 million more shares. So our capital goes up from 2.5 to 3.2. So you could say an impact of say about a rupee and a half.
And secondly, with the new line that is already come online in are you using 100% of that, or are you using proportionate shares in other lines?
So the latest line is obviously the most efficient one in terms of fuel and power. So we are trying to maximize it and run it at 100% and meet the balance that is left out of the other plants.
And what is the efficiency of that mining kilocalories per kg of cement?
It's about 705.
700?
5.
705. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wonderful presentation, sir, and wonderful answer.
Thank you, sir.
Questions put up by the participant.
Thank you.
And I am really impressed by the quality of the questions and the number of participants which are over online. And this clearly tells us about the interest of the investors in this company, which is, I think, so one of the very best companies operating in Pakistan.
Thank you, sir.
मेरा आपसे क्वेश्चन तो सारे कवर हो गए, हमने आपको पीछे रह गया। मेरा आपसे सवाल है, आपने कभी एक लफ्ज इस्तेमाल किया था ऐश,
जी,
इसको फाइनली आप एक्सप्लेन कर देंगे कि क्या मतलब मीनिंग ऑफ दैट।
ये बेसिकली जो कोल फायर्ड पावर प्लांट्स हैं उनसे जो उनका बाय प्रोडक्ट रह जाता है वो फ्लाई ऐश कहलाता है। वो फ्लाई ऐश जो है वो सीमेंट में ग्राइंडिंग में जो है वो यूज किया जा सकता है। तो वो जैसे हमारे मुल्क में तो नहीं होता, लेकिन इंडिया में सिर्फ मैं एग्जांपल देने के लिए बता रहा हूँ, वो ये कि वहां पर क्योंकि कोल जो सीमेंट कंपनीज यूज करती हैं वो इतना अबंडेंट है कि उनके पास सीमेंट कंपनीज के पास अपनी लीजेज हैं। तो वहां से वो जो फ्लाई ऐश है वो उसको लिटरली एज अ रॉ मटेरियल यूज करते हैं। पाकिस्तान में जो अगर हम लेके कर भी रहे हैं तो फिनिश सीमेंट प्रोडक्ट के साथ सिर्फ थोड़ी बहुत एज एन एडिटिव यूज होता है। तो वहां पर अगर आप देखेंगे कि तो वो रॉ मटेरियल के तौर पर उसको यूज करते हैं, जिसकी वजह से उनके फ्यूल की पावर की जो नॉर्म्स है वो हमारे से, या जो क्लिंकर फैक्टर खासतौर पर जो कार्बन एमिशंस का बायस बनता है वो बहुत ज्यादा रिड्यूस हो जाता है। तो यहाँ पर ये फ्लाई ऐश मिलती है लेकिन बहुत कम क्वांटिटी में, लॉजिस्टिक्स का प्रॉब्लम है। फिर कभी कभार हमारे एक जनरल तबीयत है लोगों की कि वो सीमेंट के रंग को बहुत गौर से देखते हैं घर बनाते हैं। तो कभी कभार अगर उसका रंग थोड़ा गाढ़ा हो जाए, हमने शुरू में कुछ किया तो वो एक दो कंप्लेंट्स हमें आई कि यार इसका ना रंग गाढ़ा हो गया, तो ये क्या हुआ। तो हमने कहा उसकी स्ट्रेंथ में और उसमें क्वालिटी में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा, लेकिन ये भी एक फैक्टर थोड़ा सा होता है। तो इसीलिए मैंने कहा 1 से 2% कुछ हद तक सिर्फ वो फ्लाई ऐश यूज हो सकती है।
Second question you मेरा आपसे I want to ask you is about your debt portion. अभी आपने बताया कि आप को जो है वो LTF की बात नहीं है। तो अगर आप 5 बिलियन जो है अगर आपको जो शॉर्ट टर्म है उसको रखें तो इन दैट केस आपका जो डेट पोर्शन जो है वो 5 बिलियन से मजीद बढ़ जाएगा और लॉन्ग टर्म में, क्योंकि then we will borrow from the market and it will be on the commercial rate. Secondly, there is a cost escalation as well, about 6 to 7 billion. Right now, it is about 6 to 7 billion. Might be it is little bit more. So by all means, you will be having a debt portion, extra debt portion. So I think because we have said that cost overrun will be met by you through internal cash generation. So I will focus on that 5 billion rupees. At the end of the day, when you will be just in operations, सबसे पहले तो आप मुझे ये बता देंगे कि right now जो उसके ऊपर जो financial charges हैं वो आप अपने P&L में बुक कर रहे हैं या उसको आप अपनी cost में आगे आके जो है उसको fixed asset cost में उसको डेबिट कर रहे हैं।
जी,
तो अभी उसका कोई इम्पैक्ट आ रहा है, वो जो फाइनेंशियल चार्जेस हैं वो अभी P&L पे फिक्स तो नहीं कर रहे हैं।
जी। तो जब तक प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट होके कमर्शियल ऑपरेशंस नहीं होते वो प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट का हिस्सा बनता है। तो जैसे मैंने कहा था जो इंक्रीज आई है इन कॉस्ट, उसमें एक वजह तो एफएक्स है और उसमें दूसरी एक वजह जो थी वो इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट थी।
जी, दिस इज व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग। एट द एंड ऑफ द डे व्हेन दैट विल बी डेबिटेड इन योर फिक्स्ड एसेट्स वो कैपिटलाइज हो जाएंगे और उसके बाद ऑनवर्ड जब आप कंपनी जो है ये ऑपरेट करना शुरू होगी तो उसका डेट कितना होगा आपकी जो है अपने प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस में।
तकरीबन अगर ये LTFF हमें मिल जाता और अगर अभी जो करंट काइबोर रेट्स जो चल रहे हैं वो ना मिलने का जो नेट इम्पैक्ट है दोनों का वो तकरीबन 800 मिलियन सालाना है। यानी कि हमारे फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट जो इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट है वो 800 मिलियन ज्यादा होगी इस LTFF के ना मिलने से।
और उसके अलावा जो आपके जो ऑलरेडी आपके जो डेट पोर्शन जो है जो आपने तकरीबन जो है 20 मिलियन के करीब है तो वो दैट विल आल्सो बी अट्रैक्टिंग दैट हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट। उसको अगर मिला लें तो कितना बन जाए।
बेसिकली ऐसा था कि हमारा जो निजामपुर का प्रोजेक्ट था उसके में 17 बिलियन का डेट हमने लिया था और उसमें 5 बिलियन टर्फ था और 5 बिलियन LTFF। उसमें लकीली हमें तकरीबन 9 बिलियन टर्फ और LTFF मिल गया। वो टाइम पे वो हुआ और जल्दी हुआ, तो वो उस वक्त लिमिट्स अवेलेबल थी स्टेट बैंक की जो जून के बाद फिर नहीं आगे चली, तो वो हम अवेल कर गए। तो वहां पर सब्सिडाइज्ड पोर्शन जो है लोन का वो ज्यादा है एज कम्पेयर टू द काइबर कॉम्पोनेंट। जो डीजी खान वाला प्रोजेक्ट था उसमें क्योंकि जून के बाद ज्यादा शिपमेंट्स आई तो वहां पर वो हिट ज्यादा। तो इस डीजी खान वाले में ये 800 का इम्पैक्ट है, वहां पर इम्पैक्ट जो है बहुत मिनिमल।
ये 800 आप जो है पूरे डेट की वजह से आप
जी, ये 5 बिलियन जो LTFF नहीं मिला ये उसका इम्पैक्ट है।
एंड दैट इज अ फ्लोटिंग रेट।
जी, काइबर बेस्ड है, वो जब काइबर चेंज होगा तो
एवरी लाइकलीहुड का 20% बेस रेट हो जाएगा।
जी ऐसे ही।
इसका मतलब है इट विल बी एस्टिमेटिंग मोर। वो अभी आपको कभी फैक्टरिंग तो नहीं किया ना?
मैंने तो 20% के हिसाब से वैसे फिलहाल कर दिया कि 20% के हिसाब से 800 मिलियन मिलता है। अगर इससे ज्यादा हुआ तो अल्लाह खैर करेगा।
अच्छा जनाब उमर साहब, एक सवाल आपसे वो ये है कि आपके शेयर होल्डर जो है काफी अच्छे से
अब तो शिकायत नहीं होनी चाहिए।
शिकायत तो सब कहाँ तक सुनेंगे, कहाँ गुजारिश ये है कि हमें कंपनी की इंटेंशन जो है नो डाउट कंपनी कुछ कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो कि आपके एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर हैं, दो आर बियॉन्ड योर कंट्रोल। और गुजारिश ये है कि देयर इज एवरी लाइकलीहुड दैट योर प्रिंसिपल विल कन्वर्ट देयर सबऑर्डिनेटेड रोल इनटू कैपिटल। देयर इज एवरी लाइकलीहुड, इसमें कोई कोई दो राय नहीं हो सकती। आप बेहतर जानते हैं दिस आई कैन बी लाइक by all these things, they were paid up capital will once again will be registering incomes and the bottom line will be. So at the end of the day, जो boundaries जो हैं सारे तमाम आपकी जो है expansion है वो third player हो जाएंगे, आप सबसे बड़े जो है। आप ये बताइए कि इनको despite जो है कोई किसी किस्म की कोई मुस्कुराहट फाइनली आपके शेयर होल्डर्स की शक्ल पे भी आएगी, या वो वही उसी तरीके से बेचारे वो वही लड़के रहेंगे। कहते हैं ना, नावंदाज जहाँ विजय ज्यादा होंगे, नेम लिस्ट में कहीं होंगे कहीं बेजान।
माशाल्लाह।
तो ये नेम लिस्ट में बेजान
सर, आप हमारे पुराने शेयर होल्डर हैं, आप कंपनी को बड़े अरसे से फॉलो कर रहे हैं। आपने देखा है कि पे आउट जो है वो हमारा हमेशा ग्रुप का और तमाम कंपनियों का इररिस्पेक्टिव हमेशा हाई रहा है, और 80-85%, 90% पे आउट रहता है एज कम्पेयर टू अदर कंपनीज जो कि नहीं होती। इस दफ़ा आपने एजीएम में, मुझे याद है, पॉइंट रेज किया था कि हमने, हालांकि हमारा कैपिटल बेस बढ़ा है, पर फिर भी हमने बोनस दिया सिर्फ इसी वजह से कि शेयर कैश नहीं दे सकते थे, तो हमने बोनस दिया कि चलें शेयर होल्डर्स जो हैं वो थोड़े बहुत हो। बाकी जहाँ तक एक कमिटमेंट की बात होती है, हमारा शेयर होल्डर जो है प्रिंसिपल फौजी फाउंडेशन, उसकी एक कमिटमेंट है टुवर्ड्स द कंपनी, इस कंपनी को बेहतर करना, इसको सस्टेनेबल जो है वो करना, ऑन अ लॉन्ग टर्म बेसिस करना। ये बहुत बड़ा स्टेप्स हैं जो हमने दो अभी लिए हैं, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह खैरियत से चल रहे हैं। तो इसलिए मैं समझता हूँ, ज़ाहिर है मैं उसके पार्ट पे नहीं कुछ कह सकता कि वो क्या करेगा कब करेगा, लेकिन ये है कि वो भी ये सिचुएशन देख रहा है, वो भी समझता है इस चीज को कि किस चीज का या किस स्टेप का क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा। आम खास तौर पे जो माइनॉरिटी शेयर होल्डर्स हैं उसका खास तौर पे हम बहुत ख्याल करते हैं, हमारे जो मेजर शेयर होल्डर्स हैं। तो उस लिहाज से आई एम श्योर कि जब भी वो कोई फैसला करेंगे तो आप इंशाल्लाह उससे खुशी होंगे। अब इससे
लास्ट क्वेश्चन बिफोर आई गेट माय कंक्लूजन लास्ट, वो ये है कि आपके जो प्लांट्स हैं ये आप 100% कैपेसिटी पे चल रहे हैं या कोई लाइन बंद भी है?
जी सर, ओवरऑल कंपनी की कैपेसिटी तकरीबन 75 पे चल रही है।
कोई लाइन बंद भी है, सारी लाइन चल
जी, वो फिर जब एफिशिएंट लाइन चल जाती है तो जो दूसरी है उससे कमी पूरी कर लेते हैं बैलेंस, और फिर उसको थोड़ी देर के लिए बंद कर देते हैं।
थैंक यू वेरी मच जी, बहुत अच्छी आपकी प्रेजेंटेशन थी, बड़े हौसले से आपने सारे सवाल किए। आई एम वेरी वेरी इम्प्रेस्ड बाय द क्वालिटी ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस दैट केम फ्रॉम द ऑनलाइन पार्टिसिपेंट, और जिस तरीके से आपने जवाब दिए उसका भी बहुत
हम आपके शुक्रगुजार हैं कि आप आए जी। और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह फौजी सीमेंट की मीटिंग, जैसे आपने खुद भी हाईलाइट किया, हमेशा बड़ी अच्छी और वेल अटेंडेड होती है, और हमारे जो ऑनलाइन जूम पे पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं वो भी अच्छी तादाद में आते हैं। वी आर थैंकफुल फॉर देयर क्वेश्चंस। एक चीज़ आपने, पुराने आप शेयर होल्डर हैं, आपने हमेशा देखा है कि हम काफ़ी ट्रांसपेरेंट तरीके से अपना काम करने की कोशिश करते हैं। उसमें ये होता है कि ऑनेस्टली अपने आंसर्स जो हैं उनको जिस हद तक दे सकते हैं देने की कोशिश करते हैं, ताकि जो है एक ट्रस्ट का रिलेशनशिप डेवलप।
सर एक क्वेश्चन है, ये सर आपने बोला था 50-53% कोल मिक्स जो है वो लोकल सोर्सेज है, तो इसमें अफगान इंक्लूडेड है या अफगान बाकी 47%?
जी, अफगान बाकी अलग है 44%।
तो सर अगर आपकी 50% से ज्यादा अगर लोकल कोल मिक्स है, तो आपने और असली सीमेंट ने मिलकर कुछ ऐसा नहीं सोचा कि लोकल माइन भी खरीदने?
हमने कई बार ये बात सोची है, डिस्कस भी की है, बस जो लोकल जिस तरीके से, क्योंकि वो जाहिर है एक अलग बिजनेस है, मतलब इस डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड नहीं है लेकिन एक अलग बिजनेस है, तो हमने कई बार इसको डिस्कशन किया है। उस माइन से शॉर्ट हम जो जो कर सकते थे कि अच्छे सप्लायर्स जनरेट करते जो एक्चुअली हमारे लिए ये काम करें, वो ज़्यादा आसान हमें लगा एज कम्पेयर टू डूइंग द माइनिंग इटसेल्फ। क्योंकि आप उस इलाके से फेमिलियर अगर हों तो वहाँ पर जो है वो ट्राइबल कल्चर है, और उसके अंदर जाकर ओन करना और वो चलाना जो है काफ़ी मुश्किल काम हो जाता है। तो उस लिहाज से ये नहीं कि हमने कभी डिस्कस नहीं किया, बहुत फ्रीक्वेंटली किया है, लेकिन ये है कि ये थोड़ा सा एक लिमिटेशन वहाँ ज़रूर होती है।
सर ये कोल सप्लायर वगैरह हैं, आरबी में कोल जो है 57 रिप्लेस करता है, और वो फिजिकली रहेगा ऐसा कंपेयर टू अफगान?
बेसिकली अफगान कोल तो RB1 से कंपेयर होता है, उसकी क्वालिटी इतनी अच्छी होती है जो आता है खास तौर पे, तो वो हम तो ज़्यादा वही लेते थे। तो RB2 RB3 की प्राइसेस पहले तो खैर बहुत ही ऊपर चली गई थी, लेकिन अभी फिर थोड़ी सी नीचे जरूर आई हैं। लेकिन यह है कि वो फिर भी लोकल और अफगान कॉम्बिनेशन को बीट नहीं करता, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा इसमें एक एंगल हमारे प्लांट की एफिशिएंसी से भी कंसर्न करता है। क्योंकि ये जो कोल है जब ये जलता है तो ये क्लिंकर जो हमारा बनता है उसका पार्ट बन जाता है, इसमें जो ऐश होती है उसको देखना कि वो ऐश कंपोनेंट किस में कितना है, ये बहुत जरूरी है। तो वो फिर भी जो है उससे बेहतर बनता है। और दूसरी बात ये है कि आज तो ये सिचुएशन है कि एलसी खोलना, मतलब 25,000 टन की एलसी जो है वो $2.5 मिलियन की 3 की खुलती है। तो इस वक्त थोड़ा सा $2.5 लाख आप बैंक को कहें तो वो थोड़ा सा घबरा जाता है, तो 2.5 मिलियन तो इस वक्त तो सिचुएशन ये हो गई। लेकिन ये है कि जो बेस्ट कॉम्बिनेशन होता है हम जरूर यूज करते हैं।
तो सर वेपर लीक की लाइन जो है, जो अभी न्यू लाइन में लगी है, वो हाई सल्फर कोल भी यूज कर सकते हैं रिलेटिवली पेट कोक की वजह से। तो आपकी लाइन में ऐसी कोई कैपेबिलिटी है तो आप नई लाइन से लाए?
जी बिल्कुल, हम भी ये लोकल कोल की परसेंटेज इसी वजह से इतनी ज्यादा हुई है कि हम भी ऑलमोस्ट, पहले हम 2% 3% तक रहते थे, तो अब हम भी तकरीबन 5% तक जो है वो चले जाते हैं। तो उस लिहाज से इस तरह का मिक्स बना के, तो क्योंकि अफगान में कम होता है इसमें ज्यादा होता है, तो दोनों को मिक्स करके चलाने से वो कंपोनेंट जो है उसका इम्पैक्ट कम आ जाता है। तो इस हद तक हमने भी ट्राई किया।
और दरा का क्या सल्फर मार्केट?
वो 2.5 से 4% के लिए। Thank you. So thank you, Aisha. Thank you to all the participants.
So there
So
are
we'd
a
like
few
to-
questions in the chat box, so I'll just quickly ask those questions if you don't
हाँ, sure.
mind.
अगर
So,
पहले नहीं पूछे।
yeah. So the questions are that how was the average coal cost in first quarter, close to 38,000 rupees per ton, when Afghan coal prices were near the level of 50,000 rupees per ton, with 50% plus mix? Were local coal available below 30,000 rupees per ton at that time?
So the composition of local coal was higher in the first quarter because of the Afghan prices going very high. But in the second quarter, the prices came down, so the mix got changed. So the percentages I mentioned of the overall consumption pertain to the overall 6-month period. So that is why the average cost is as such.
Okay, great. The next question is, what is the max quantity of local coal that is available on a monthly basis?
So on an overall company basis, we do manage to get at times between 25, 30, 35,000 tons of coal a month.
Okay, and have you charged the finance cost for Nizampur plant in second quarter, given that it came online in November 2022?
Yes, we've started to do that.
Okay, and can you also share the current LTFF and financing rate?
So TUF was at 2.5 and LTFF is 3.5. If they go through our financial statements, the annual one, I think the rates are mentioned in them as well.
So just taking the last question from the chat box, that is there any GRP exports that would assist company to import DG Khan expansion equipment?
Sorry, if you could repeat that.
Is there any GRP exports that would assist company to import DG Khan expansion equipment?
We don't require any exports to assist in importing that. As I said, the LCs that were already opened, this LC is registered with the State Bank, and we gave them a schedule as per which imports were to come. So we don't foresee, so far all the shipments that have come have been honored. So we don't see any problem in those. The exports that we do have, we sort of use them for other imports.
Okay, that's great, sir. Thank you for your patience and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you to the
Aisha.
virtual participants who have joined us today.
Thank you so much for coordinating, and thank you to all the participants once again. We look forward to see you, inshallah, at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.